Ladies and gentlepawns, this video is probably one of the most insane ones because this game was crazy. You guys are gonna be like blown out of your mind about how crazy this game was. Because, Gotham was right, never resign. And, especially at the highest level, don't resign. So, let's get into the game. It's day 5 for y'all. If you're new to the channel, welcome, like and subscribe, and the series will continue to go on for as long as I make it. I'm trying to see if I can do it every single day, but we'll see. This is still day 5 of me trying to see where I can go. I'm 2,000 on chess.com, but Leech's rating is a little bit different, and I'm still in the provisional rating system. And I actually find Elite Chess a little bit harder. I find their players are a little bit better. And yeah, or maybe they're weaker. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, my opponent is 1917, and his name is Gino Gigo. And I have the white pieces again. I don't know how many times I have the white pieces. It seems like I should have black some way or another, because I've only gotten black once, I think, from the beginning, which is crazy. Like, I would think that I've I've done like white how many times? 3 times? Is this 4 times in a row? And only the first day was when I had black. So I decided to change it up a little bit. I wanted to go e4, but I was like, nah, let's just do, standard London stuff, because why not? Get out the opening, play pretty reasonable, lock down the center, get a nice structure, and then rook to e1. Let's go back a little bit. He plays f5, and these are my different ideas. Queens to c2, and then rook to c1, and then rook to e1. Just play, develop good developing moves. I go rook to e1 first, and then he plays queen here, and I'm like, okay, seems pretty reasonable. I was thinking, oh, maybe we should go here. But the thing about going here is that he's got like this, and let's say he brought his bishop out, and he had his rook, there's a pin, and I really just kind of discarded the idea, because it actually couldn't hurt me in the long run. And in times where I play the car, I love bringing this rook to c file, and then bring in the knight to usually trap, or do tactics on the queen when they bring it to c2. That's kind of a common idea that I like to use. But we continue the game. I play queen e2. He plays rook to, or not rook, king to h8. And now we are completely in a new set of games that has never been reached in the database before, either Elite Chess or Masters. Yeah, Queen E2 was the last like legit move in the Elite Chess database, and it went off in the game where his opponent played knight to g5, which I found kind of interesting, trying to get rid of this knight. But yeah, I guess this was the start of a new set of games. So he played king to h8, which isn't the best move, because I know it's kind of prophylactic, but why not just develop your pieces? Like, you could have just owned this rook file, and yeah, you would have been in good shape, but I decided to take it first. He plays bishop to d7, and now I'm like, okay, I'd like to strike in the center. And I took some time. I was kind of dawdling and wasn't thinking, and I played c4, and then I realized after he took here that, oh, I'm down a pawn. Like, I didn't even think about it. I was just like, okay, yeah, attack, his center and try and get a good position. But yeah, the c4 move kind of cost me, because I just straight up hang a pawn. And, big exchange. He goes back, and then I play rook c7, which is not good at all, dude. Because I lose my rook on the spot. How? Bishop to c6. And now every spot that my rook can technically go is covered by a black piece. And at first I was like, oh, well, that rook is fine. It's not going to do much, right? Yeah, I completely underestimated and just was completely blindsided that my rook was kind of trapped, and that I needed to support it from like queen here, and just, go like so. because if, queen d6, which he was threatening, then I can take and knight takes, and then I have a free square for my rook. I can always bring it back because it's, protected by the knight. Kind of complicated for some people, but not at all for others. And don't ask what I was doing, but I played bishop to b5, and I lose my rook. Yeah, happens to the best of us. And yeah, this was not what I wanted, but you know, it happens. Stuff happens, and you may not know why you just did that, but it's all part of learning. But I'm not gonna give up. I take his bishop, he takes back, I bring my bishop back, and it's around 2.6, so I'm still in the game because I still have pieces. But now the idea is just to keep all the pieces on the board. B3, because I really don't know what other move to make. He reroutes his queen to b8, which I guess is a very cool idea. I now attack the pawn that he just left, and he goes back and I guess reroutes, which I think is a pretty decent idea. And he's now sniping from here with the knight, with the queen, and with the rook potentially being part of the attack. But I tried to, attack his weak pawn, but, it's going to get hit with this move. But I guess, sorry, not this move, but I guess my knight can come into the game and cause him problems, maybe, strike into it here and try and fork. So he plays an even better move and cuts off my knight from ever jumping in at any time and protects the pawn like so, which is a very cool idea. I play back, I kind of shuffle, I take that knight because it's kind of a nuisance and I need to get it out or else my attack is, or his attack more like it, is gonna completely just like bulldoze me. So I go queen to d3, get out of the way, and now, this is threatened and this is threatened, but, I go here, defend me, he takes my pawn, but this is not the best move because I take a very important pawn from him back. So queen takes f5. I'm still thinking, oh, this is dead loss, whatever. I'm gonna lose to, some sort of endgame. He's just gonna trade off all my pieces. But the interesting thing is that my king is actually so much more safer than his king. Yes, he has more pawns. He has 3 pawns and 2 rooks, and I just have a loner all by himself. But now I'm threatening knight to g5 and potentially mate. So he has to be careful. And he spent a while, like a very long while. Like in this game, he was very attentive to, his moves and his playing order. And yeah, he was very good. He played very well. But the time is ticking, it's not like, oh, you're gonna get low on time. And, I think I was like at the end of the game, I was like 17 minutes to his 20 seconds. Like it was insane. So play the best move, queen to c7, and this allows me from going for any mates, because if I go knight to g5, he has, here, and let's say I try and go and check, the queen can always cover, and he's in good shape. I go knight here, and he goes g6, the only move to save the position. I give a check, and he goes king here. Let's say he goes queen here now. Actually, I can just take a pawn and possibly take his other pawn, and the game could get a bit spicy. I would be back kind of in the pawn material, and make the game very fun and very interesting. So he doesn't play it, but he just moves the king to the side, and it's all fine. And so, I play queen back, try and protect this pawn right here, which is kind of like the only loner, because I'm like, okay, he's gonna start pushing with the pawns, right? He goes rook e8 to e1, and now puts more pressure on this weak f2 pawn. And I'm like, okay, well, my knight is kind of gets stranded. It's gonna get hit with this anyway, so bring it back, right? Bring it back. Now I'm also threatening like this, trying like to reroute, cause some problems. The knights are kind of, devious in certain situations, and they're kind of your best friend, and they're kind of more versatile. I really like knights. I've won games where, end games, especially with knights, I find the most annoying, but you can be annoying just as bad to your opponent. Sometimes in like games I've had like knights, bishops, and pawns, and I find that knights are so much more annoying to deal with, and I'd rather be in a knight bishop where I have a knight than a bishop knight where I have a bishop. Especially because like knights can transfer to all different types of squares, while bishops are only limited to their own color squares. So game's not over. I'm still fighting back. He plays queen to b6, pretty reasonable. Just piling on the pressure on this weak pawn. But now I have a little bit of counterplay. Knight to d4. The best move and the only move to cause some problems. And he has to go back to rook to c7 or rook to e7 and just make sure that there's, no attack on this file. And yeah. But he plays rook e to b2. And this is a draw, which blows my mind because, okay, of course, he's putting more pressure on this pawn and he's going to start pawn storming. But guess what? To checkmate, all you need is a knight and the queen. And now I'm threatening mate, hilariously enough. And my guy has like got 50 seconds left on the clock. Um, and yeah, he's gotta like run. He's gotta run out of the way, or else he's gonna get checkmated. And my opponent plays a horrible move in the time trouble. And just when I thought I was lost, I come out resiliently, and him being scared that he's gonna lose on time, frighteningly plays queen to b7, and it's lost. What? How is it lost? You can't checkmate now. He's covered the only checkmate square, right? But guess what? There's one move that wins, and I found it. And it's queen to f6. This is mate. This is mate. This is mate. You can't cover. Like there's nothing you can do. You have to play like h6 or something. Like h6 and then go here. Actually, sorry. h6. Sorry, where's the move? Yes, sorry. This pawn. And now he has to go here, and now I take here, and then he's got to go back, and then I have queen f8 now, and now he runs, and then I have like knight here check, which is not the best move, but still, and the king is fully exposed, by the way. Like, it's gonna be hard for him to, try and start his own attack when I am countering, and the king is fully exposed. This is crazy, and yeah, queen f6. He had like 6 seconds on the clock, and he blunders mate in one, and actually resigned in this position before he allowed me to checkmate. But wow, what a game! Just fully resilient in the fact that I was completely lost here. He had all that time, but I just tried to keep as many of my pieces on the board and just try not allow him to. I mean, this knight move, this knight like transfer. Look at this, from this square to this square to this square to this square. Did a full like 360 around the board, and just did not allow me to get any. Like he tried, but I didn't allow him. Like it was amazing. Like I was just like befuffled that like how he just missed this idea that his king was so weak, and that he completely misevaluated the position. I mean, time is of the essence. I mean, it's very important. Like I was 17 minutes, and I was like, the best I can do is just flag him and try and make things complicated. And yeah, that's why you never give up. And this game was truly amazing. I'm like 1950 now, so we'll see how the games will go. Hopefully, if I can hit 2000, that'll be just wonderful. And I will be able to, continue to fight and just keep going up the rating ladder, as I know it's just going to get harder from here. And, 2000s ain't no joke on classical. They are going to be super tough. Like, I think the rating ladder is different from like, 1500 Lichess and so on. But once you get to like 1800 to 2000, the curve starts to flatten out, and 2000 on Lichess is pretty much 2000 on chess.com. So, yeah, this was quite the game. And what are we now? 3 wins, 1 loss, and 1 draw. And actually, let's take a look at our game review, as I know everyone is going to be wanting to know what that is. And oh, there we go. We got our game review right here, 89.4. Our opponent played at 79. Like, we had a decent start, but we just completely miscalculated the position, went down a rook. But look at this, stayed resilient. Like, Stockfish said that we were playing all the good moves to just keep the position somewhat alive, and then mistake and a mistake. Crazy. This was a crazy game today. But yeah, we continue to play, continue to fight, and continue to grind, and just do our very best. This is Taken. Day 5. I'm out.